Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017, Monaco 64, home of alternative economics and contrarian views. So, 8:24 a.m. London time, check on the markets before I go on to my main subject today, which is the Help the Bankers scheme. You probably haven't heard of that scheme, but I'll elaborate later. Right now, spot gold 1271.25, up 50 cents. Fairly quiet overnight, 1268 to 1273 range. Silver trading 1660, up 1.5. The Dow, wow, the Dow is up surprisingly, 44 points, 22,600, up 0.2%. S&P 500, 2530, up 2 points. Currencies are picking up a little bit here against the dollar this morning, even though we made new lows, recent lows in the pound at 132.28. We're now at 132.86, up 10 pips. Euro made a low of 116.95 overnight, but now we're at 117.35. And the dollar, the yen made a low at 113.20, or the dollar made a high there at 113.20, and it's now testing 113 below. So dollar coming a little bit under pressure early on here in Europe. So what's the Help the Bankers scheme? Well, it's basically the Help to Buy scheme in the UK. And I'll read a little bit about the Help to Buy scheme. Help to Buy is the name of a government program in the UK that aims to help first-time buyers of homes or properties, usually younger people who haven't owned a house before, and those looking to move home, purchase residential property. It was announced in the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne's 2013 budget speech, and was described as, and I quote, as the biggest government intervention in the housing market since the Right to Buy scheme of the 1980s. It is an extension of a previous program called First Buy, and was aimed solely at all first-time buyers. Help to Buy itself has expanded and extended. So why do I call it Help the Bankers scheme? Well, because the government isn't giving money directly to people to buy homes. No, they're basically backing their mortgages for a few years. They're like saying, yeah, go on, get a mortgage, and we'll help you a little bit, and then you have to pay us back and the bankers. So all this does is help the bankers. It keeps house prices inflated. And it actually has the negative effect. When all these schemes came out, I don't think I was doing my videos yet, but I told people this is going to have the negative effect. And because government intervention, as it, always has the opposite effect. Like Richard Nixon froze prices in the early 70s, price controls, and that led to even more higher prices because producers are not willing to produce at low cost because they need to make a profit. So you get a shortage of the goods, so the prices go up, and it's the same thing here. And it's interesting because there's been criticism from the IMF of all people. IMF, they love to enslave foreign governments, the IMF, through the World Bank. But it says here, this is from Wikipedia I'm reading, Help to Buy attracted concern about its artificial inflation of house prices. Yeah, yeah, of course. It says the IMF said the scheme, by pumping up house prices, could actually reduce the affordability of housing for the first-time buyers and called for close monitoring of it. Mark Carney's predecessor, the head of the Bank of England, Mervyn King, expressed disquiet. So, it's not only me. I'm not like a alternative, all-wing, right-wing, radical. All I'm saying that if people, read up a little bit on more of the Austrian School of Economics and how the market is the best mechanism really, the free market. And that's why I want to bring this up, because last week, and I read here from the Express, it says, Theresa May in attack on Corbyn's socialist dream. Prime Minister hails free market economy. So, and it says here, Theresa May has defended the free market in a speech on the 20th anniversary of the Bank of England independence, just a day after Jeremy Corbyn attacked capitalism when he spoke at the Labour Party conference. So here she is, Theresa May, the Prime Minister, at the Bank of England, which is not a free market institution, it's a monopoly created by the government, hailing the free market. So it's just a joke, because, the conservative government hasn't been free market. They've been intervening, in housing, helping the bankers, even though politically it looks like they're helping the voters by, allowing them to buy their first homes, or buy any home for that matter. It started out as first-time buyers, but then they helped anyone who wanted to buy a home. And the other point as well is that if the Labour government and also the Conservative coalition after 2010, if they hadn't kept bailing out the banks, and the house prices would have collapsed, and it would have been painful, but people would be able to afford the houses right now. They might. But someone might say, oh, but there wouldn't be jobs in the economy. Who knows? It's been almost 10 years since then. We could have recovered very quickly. But no, they've kept interfering. So it's very hypocritical for her to come out and say that, hailing the free market. And more even hypocritical is just that a few days later, she's come out, and said that she wants to start a new program to help first-time buyers again. And I read here from Business Insiders. It says the chronic shortage of UK housing is currently an important political issue. Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn last week pledged to introduce rent caps if he becomes Prime Minister. Well, that doesn't work either, rent caps. Makes it even, that makes it even worse. It will make, there will be shortages of places to rent. And Theresa May pledged a further $10 billion for government help to buy scheme, which helps first-time buyers to purchase homes. So she's just come out a few days after she hailed the free market and said that the government is going to pledge another $10 billion. But this $10 billion can also be seen as a help for the money lenders, because their business is slowing down. I bet you when she was at the Bank of England, maybe Mark Carney had a private meeting with her and said, look, our friends at Goldman Sachs and Barclays are saying their mortgage lending is really coming to a screeching halt. Why don't you go out there and tell the people that you're going to help them with another $10 billion? But don't tell them it's for the bankers. What you have to understand is, when someone takes a mortgage, that's a liability for the person, of course, or the family. But on the other side of that coin is an asset for the banks. So that's what's going on. And it's also an income. And they're getting good interest, on these mortgages. I'm not sure what the mortgage interest rate is now in the UK, but, from 3 to 5%, while rates are at 0. So they borrow at 0 from the Bank of England and they screw you. So this is a help the bankers scheme. And it's not only in the UK we've got that. I guess in the US, HUD and all the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they help, they subsidize housing in the States as well. But what they're doing really is keeping values, houses, elevated. And what that has done is it's made, and the other thing as well that people don't talk about, the reason they always call it a high housing crisis in the UK, that there's not enough homes. That's rubbish. It's just because the other reason is that the government and the Bank of England And I don't believe the Bank of England is independent, because if it was, it wouldn't have rates at 0% to help the government, you know, keep its borrowing binge going and huge deficits every year. What that's done, it's made people who do have some savings buy homes or flats or apartments so that they can rent it out, because they'll at least get like a small, you know, some kind of income from it, like 3, 4, 5%, you know. And if they keep the money in the bank, they get 0. In some countries, you even get negative interest rates. So there's a story here also on Business Insider saying spiraling rents mean Britain's private landlords earn $54 billion a year, while homeowners spend half as much on mortgages. So that as well has probably got the bankers a little bit annoyed. We want a piece of the action, you know, Theresa May, we need some more mortgages. But I would say that out of that $54 billion, though, the landlords, a lot of them are leveraged as well. So they've got a mortgage as well. So a lot of that $54 billion still goes to the bankers. It doesn't all go to the landlords. You know, that's what you have to understand as well. So am I saying that I favored Jeremy Corbyn and his socialist policies? No, I don't favor either of those two politicians' policies. Unfortunately, there's no one in the UK who you know, proposes a free market policy to let, you know, the market do the job. And it seems like it's already doing in some parts of London. You know, there's a story that came out last week in the Daily Mail, and it says up to 50% off £1 million homes. Buyers can bag a bargain as luxury property market is hit by stamp duty hikes and Brexit concerns. So you already have, you know, for example, it says here in the Daily Mail, this 2-bedroom maisonette in London's South Kensington is for sale for £685,000 via estate agent Foxtons, having first been advertised in May this year for $1,275,000. So you're already having, you know, the correction here. Don't stop it, Theresa May. Another one here. The 4-bedroom house in North London's Whetstone was first listed for sale a year ago for $1.2 million and now has an asking price of $900,000. Still very high. I think they're going to have to drop that offer or asking price. This 3-bedroom flat in London's Kensington was first put on the market a year ago for $1.2 million. The price has dropped, asking price has dropped to $895,000. So there you have it, Theresa May. Let the market do its job, but you probably won't, because you want to buy votes from young people. You know, you want to come out and say that you're going to help young people. You're going to give them, and you're not going to give them. You're just going to help them and enslave themselves even more with debt. That's all it is. So, yeah, it's the help the bankers scheme, help enslave the public scheme. Don't fall for it. What can you do? It's difficult to say. I'm not in the situation of a young person coming, you know, starting his or her first job. I would say, yeah, difficult. You know, do you rent or do you take a huge mortgage? I don't know. It's difficult. But that's what they want to do. They want to make everything difficult so that you keep, you know, electing them so they can try to solve the problems that they have created. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, share it, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. And you can also follow me on steemit.com and on Twitter. I'll talk to you later. Bye.